welcome to the Fearless Football Forecast. This is the last regular season last regular season show. Maybe we'll have a postseason show depending on how the teams do, but the last week of the regular season is always an exciting week. We have an exciting table.
Yes, I'm very excited about this whole situation right
I
here.
know, based on that intro, I don't think we qualify for the postseason.
We might get a wild card. We'll see. All right, well, business only here. Tony, start us off with a big game, rivalry game every year, and possible some playoff implications, possibly depending on how things shake out. South Central is against Conley.
Yeah, South Central at Conley has been a pretty lively matchup the last few years.
Yeah.
Those guys know each other. They hang out during the summers, I'm sure. But when it comes, Friday night, I think they're going to be out for blood. I think both teams will be. South Central, looking to close out strong after having kind of a rough season, 3-7 on the year. We know what's been going on with Conley with their situation, off the field things as well. Should be a good one.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about this game last year, South Central won an upset.
Right.
So even though Conley's had some good years, South Central's kind of dominated this series, at least recently.
Right.
Who's your pick there, Tony?
I think Conley's going to win. I think home field advantage is always huge for them. They always get a good crowd. They'll definitely get a good crowd for South Central. I think Conley wins in a close one.
All right, Jim.
I saw South Central play last week against Washington. They didn't perform really well. Washington looked pretty impressive,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
But I got to give the edge to Conley. I think they're just playing well right now. And South Central will have to right a lot of things before they go into that game to have a chance. They struggled against that Washington team.
Right.
Yeah, both of these teams have lost to Washington recently.
Yeah.
The Pan Pac's pretty strong, but I'm going to go with the Vikings as well. I think, especially depending on what they have on the line at that point,
Mhm.
I think they're just a better team. But it's a rivalry game. I think it's a close Conley win. Jim, here the next game, the game that we've talked about forever,
Big one.
all season,
All season long we've been
and,
talking about.
and every year this happens. But Aiden Griffin travels to Goldsboro, conference title on the line, basically.
Yeah, it's almost like you could cancel out the first 9-10 games of the season, just play this one, decide the title, and it's that way again too. It's eerie because they're even number 8, number 9 in the
Yeah.
rankings.
Yeah.
It's just kind of just bizarre how it works out like this. But it's one of those things where there's clearly a upper class conference, and it's Goldsboro and Aiden Griffin, and this year's no different. Two really strong teams this year.
All right, who's your pick in that one?
It's tough because you look at all the numbers and they look really similar. But I'm going to go with Aiden Griffin. I've seen him a couple times this year, and they really dominated the game as I saw. I was really impressed. I know they got to go on the road, but I want to see somebody beat them. I think they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs.
For sure.
People are going to struggle against them. They're playing smart. They're big. They're deep. I got to go with the Chargers.
I'm 100% with you in that. I want to see somebody beat Aiden Griffin. I'm kind of tempted to pick Goldsboro because it's at Goldsboro and the home field and all that. But until somebody, especially from that conference, knocks off the Chargers, I'm going with Aiden Griffin as well.
I'm going to pick Aiden Griffin strictly because I think their defense is probably better than Goldsboro's, but not by much. As Jim mentioned, you're not going to find two teams more closely matched than these, and I think Aiden Griffin will come back with a win.
All right, next game on the slate here, North Pitt travels to Kinston. I think it's going to be another close game.
Yeah.
Even though North Pitt's locked up second place in that conference, Jim and I were talking, I think last week, that seeding is on the line as far as playoffs. So North Pitt, where they're going to finish in the conference, but man, if they get a win here, they can build a really strong resume. Some things can work in their favor, and we could be looking at a team that can make some noise in the postseason. So they're traveling to Kinston with a lot to play for. Kinston's trying to sneak into the playoffs as well, and this is a game that I think could be a high-scoring game because both teams know how to score for sure. My pick there, I'm going to go with North Pitt. I think they got to bring their A game though, traveling to Kinston. Kinston's always a talented squad, but North Pitt's been more consistent. We talked about that I think last week. They're just really consistent. They're playing well at this point. I'm going with the Panthers to finish strong.
I covered the North Pitt Bettingfield game. Wild win for the Panthers. But even before that game, I was talking with some North Pitt fans. They already kind of had Kinston on the brain. Not that they were overlooking Bettingfield, but they definitely were thinking about going to Kinston and getting a win because that's something that I don't think North Pitt has done a lot, at least not recently. But I think they'll get a win. I think the Panthers are good enough to beat them down there.
All right, Jim?
Yeah, I think North Pitt gets the win on the road. I think they finished with an 8-3 record in the regular season.
Great year.
Hats off to that crew. I mean, it's been impressive what they've done. We've talked all year long about how tough that conference is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of closely matched teams, but I think North Pitt gets on the road and gets a big win.
Okay. Tony, next game here, New Bern at J. Rose.
Yeah, you feel for Rose. That season that started, and they started conference play so strong. I think they jumped out to a 2-0 conference mark, and it's just gone downhill ever since. But I kind of feel like that's been the way they've been all year. They haven't really put it together just yet. That's a really young team. Lipe has mentioned that all year long.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, you don't want to blame it on them being young, but a New Bern powerhouse team coming in at 9-0, you know what you're going to get from them. It's just going to be a tough challenge for Rose for sure.
All right, what's your pick there?
I think New Bern will win easily. The thing for the Rampants, they would love to keep it close. I think that's really all they can look for here.
Yeah, agreed. Jim?
You know, the first time they met this year in that non-conference game wasn't even close.
Yep.
So it's hard to pick Rose in this game. New Bern's just rolling right now, so got to go with the Bears.
All right, I'm going with the Bears as well. They're just too talented. I think they get it done. Last game here, Jim. Green Central at Farmville Central.
Yeah, we're talking about Aiken Griffin and Goldsboro being kind of evenly matched. We've got kind of another kind of evenly matched team on the other end of the spectrum, but 2 1-8 teams. But you know, there's a lot of pride on the line with this game. Both teams have struggled in conference, but Farmville does have that one win. So you know, both of those coaches are treating this like the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Because,
Yeah.
you know, this is your chance to go out as a winner.
Right.
You know, so I think we're going to see a pretty hotly contested game on Friday night.
No doubt.
All right, who's your pick in that one?
Jaguars.
All
Jaguars
right.
get their second win of the season. You look at how they played. They scores may be a little offside, but they've been competitive in all those games.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say the same thing about Green Central.
Yeah.
For every game. So right now, I got to give the edge to the Jaguars. Hopefully, they come into the game healthy.
Yeah.
That's obviously the key.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Farmville as well. I mean, they're like you said, they've been competitive. Last week they lose 21-0 against Tarboro. And
Yeah.
Even though that's a loss, I mean, I think that surprised us all. I mean,
Yeah.
Tarboro is rolling. Farmville hung right with them. They've done that a couple times in other games this year. I think they're just playing better. So I'm going with the Jaguars.
Yeah, I think we actually mentioned it. I may have even said that was a moral victory to hold Tarboro to only 21 points. I mean, heck, there aren't a lot of teams, and even good teams haven't been able to say that. And I'm with you guys. I think Farmville Central is going to be pumped for this game. They're going to want to close the year strong. Getting another win is the way to do it. I think they'll beat Green Central.
All right, well, there's our games for this week. The regular season is almost over. We're getting there. Postseason next week, so make sure you check reflector.com and check back with us next week.